Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, I'm so glad you joined me today. In this video, I'm showing you what I've been doing with A Perfect Summer by Echo Park, and it's part of my No Paper Left Behind challenge. Daniella Hayes started this, and I just had this paper sitting around and I thought, that's it, I'm doing it. I used this last year and this year in the cards that I made for school staff. That is over, by the way. I've already sent out my cards, so those of you who are now working on them, I'm so sorry if I wasn't clear on the date. If you have some in transit to me, I can find people to give them to at the schools, but I am done. But I do appreciate the efforts. Here, I've sped it up about 6 times, and I'm just showing you what I'm putting together. This isn't my most organized card making batch video. At this point in the paper pack, I am kind of down to the end, coming up with ideas as I go. I wouldn't say I'm struggling. Now in real time I am. That's part of why I stopped to make the video. I was like, okay, I need a break. I'm not done yet, but I do hope to finish up this weekend, and at the end of the video I'll show you what paper I have left. It's really not that much, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but you'll see. I used some die cuts, then I got out ink, which I haven't been stamping much in my videos, and I haven't been inking the edges. I had orange ink that I thought would be perfect, a Distress Oxide, just add some fun, because the way I cut that, there wasn't another layer. I didn't ink it perfectly, and I don't care. And I thought I bought some of those little tiny fingertip dauber things at Expo, but sometimes when I'm making cards, I just go for it, because otherwise I'll spend 10 minutes looking for the perfect ink applicator, and I'm sure I have it, and that's not the point. I'm just putting things together, and here, that's one of my scrap card backgrounds. I think I have a video on those. I just take the strips, the branding strips, or whatever's left that's on the table making me crazy, and glue it down. And I have all these cards that are laid out, and I'm trying to put the parts together. The hellos were from the die cutting when I was playing with Andrea's new sidekick. Don't worry, now that I have my own, I can play with it. Look at how that card was when I laid it out. I like that dark blue circle much more the way it is there than the way I glue it down. Yeah, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Other things I wanted to tell you about as you're watching these cards come together. I'm going to Kentucky. I want to go to all the states, and Kentucky is going to happen in July, I think. I haven't gotten my tickets yet, but I'm going shopping with Sabrina at some point, I believe. I'll have to check in with Mr. Crafting and Relaxing and see exactly what the travel schedule is. So if you might be familiar with Sabrina K. Crafter, she has a fun channel, does all kinds of crazy shopping sprees and fun stuff, and there are places I would like her to take me in Kentucky. See, I like how that orange ink went perfectly with that paper. A birthday card. I actually made a birthday card. Then I found some yellow stars that were sitting there from, I think, the very first batch, the bigger batch I made for the schools, and I wanted to use those. One thing that's great about No Paper Left Behind is you're cleaning, right? You're just grabbing all the stuff and using it, and I like that. I like when you get down. I like the very beginning of when you start a project or a paper pack, and I like the very end. Sometimes that 2/3 of the way or 3/4 of the way makes you really question your hobbies and think, should I do something else? And I'll be honest, No Paper Left Behind is a challenge for me, because I have a tendency to work with a paper pack to a certain extent and then just put it in the bag that I give to kids or donate and call it done. So this is actually using the entire paper pad is a challenge for me. I'm curious to see how it goes on like the red, white, and blue, or the Bow Bunny Secret Garden with all that purple. I think this color palette was just a stretch for me. There were a couple of sheets of blue that I loved. It's just really geometric and really bright. Look, I actually used that Dilution stamp that I colored. That is a UFO unfinished object from last summer when I was stamping those and on a colored pencil spree, which I thought it might be time to get the colored pencils out and sit in the backyard and relax a little bit again, because I do like doing that. And I don't know if these foam dot things are old, but I edited that because I had a hard time getting them off. I would love to buy one of those giant rolls, but I'm trying to use the stuff up that I had, and I got some more at that amazing garage sale. I don't think I'll buy the small ones anymore. And I think I've said that before, but I keep finding more in my craft room. I like this card. These cards are maybe not my absolute favorite ever, but they are cards that I would give away. And that's my point. If I reach a point where I'm crafting and I don't like the cards, then I think, okay, I'm too tired or I need to step away from this paper. I haven't put any jewels or bling or sequins on these yet, so that will be the one thing that I add before I start giving them out. But I think these colors give a really crisp look. And since it's only June, I have time to use them all year. I do like that chevron paper, the one in the upper right. I really like that. And there's a small one in here that I found more of. Because remember, I have 12 by 12 paper and 6 by 6 mixed. So I have two patterns, two scales of the pattern. And it would have been fun to use some of that on that card, but it was on the back. It was wrong side up. I didn't find it till later. I'm not using my glass mat. You notice my Tim Holtz black glass mat when I'm filming. It's because I'm experimenting with my lighting. I have now established for sure it is my lights that are the problem. Kind of the color's dull and it flashes a little. The mat, though, it causes glare. And then I have to be careful about where I'm working. It's not as flexible. But it's so nice to line things up and confirm that they're straight as you're putting them together. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Essentially, I need lights. I'm hoping maybe the Delightful Crafter or somebody will tell me what lights they're using, and then I can just order them on Amazon. Because remember, I would much rather be crafting than shopping, even if it's just surfing. This is an interesting card. I've never done this before. I usually cut off the hole punch section, but in this instance I just hadn't cut it and I was desperately looking for card size mats, so I used that and then just put a strip over it. That was an interesting tidbit for me because I have a tendency to just chop those all off kind of as part of my prep. Look, I actually remembered to hole punch some circles out so that I have additional embellishments. Honestly though, at this point I'm not trying to extend the life of this paper, so that's part of why I haven't been punching things out. But I do like that interesting red. It's not a dark red, but it's not a super bright red, so I'm not sure it'll go with a bunch of things, but I like the wood grain. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I like that I covered up the hole punch. I tried to just glue it in the center, but it was actually floppy. It was like curving up, so I just gave up and glued it down. Here you can see kind of what I have left, and I'm experimenting, testing things out. Honestly, I do not like this paper I'm cutting right now. That's part of it. Is it giant birthday candles? I don't know what it is. It just kind of makes me crazy. And there is stuff in this paper pad that it does not really go together. When we talk about paper pads and making cards with them and being brave and mixing patterns, there are things on here that I tried to mix and I just couldn't do it. I love the blues, of course, and I think that's probably why I bought this paper. I love that stripe right there and that geometric blue. The darker blue with that geometric pattern, it's a little tricky because it has a hint of green in it. So it doesn't match with absolutely everything in my stash, which you'd think it would, right, with all the blue. The other thing is I haven't brought out a lot of stuff because I'm trying to use it up. So you can see this is what I have left. That piece I just showed you is the biggest piece. We are down to scraps. So I will finish it up this weekend, and then I hope to do another series in my card making templates for beginners. I think I'm up to number 4. I have it all picked out. I just haven't filmed it. So this is where I am. Thanks so much for watching. I hope everybody is having a great week. There's one piece of 12-inch strip left. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.